All right, we're live Tuesday night live on Eastern Outdoors. Got some very special guests with us here tonight, and we'll give everyone just a moment to congregate and get on here. Josh, I'm glad you make it. I didn't think we were waiting on you. I think you made us about a minute late, but I'm glad you're here.
Dude, I was in the shower and
Well, that's
got
good.
out, looked at my phone, and it was 7:58, and seen your message, and I totally forgot we were even doing a live tonight. And I was like, dude, I gotta hurry up. So
7:58 because Josh is on Central Time. So,
yeah.
all right, I'm waiting on the notification to come through. We got three people. Brent Lemming says, "Evening, fellas. Good evening, Brent. Thanks for being here, buddy. We're going to be talking some more bass fishing like we did last week. Josh, you went fishing today. Give us an update. How'd it go?
It was terrible. It was awful. So I've actually fished the past 2 days and started out bass fishing. Water temps were like 47, 48 degrees.
Yeah.
Fishing deep, just they weren't biting. So I went crappie fishing and caught some crappie.
Well, there you go. That'll
Yeah.
work.
I made it work somehow. I was successful in some way.
All right. I'm just waiting. I'm going to share this real quick.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and ask y'all a question, just right off the bat. So, if you were going to a brand new lake and it was cold and you knew you had to fish deep, what are you using? Like, how are you going to tackle that?
Because that's what you did today.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to catch them deep. Listen, if you catch them on the bank, I can catch them all day. I'm a great shallow fisherman, but deep water, I suck. I'm terrible. So, what would you say? For someone that's terrible at offshore fishing, what would you tell them to do to get better?
Really, I think it's not really a bait thing. The main thing is just spending time graphing and finding fish offshore. Um, I mean, I know for me, I don't know about Nick, but for me, every time I go to a body of water, if it's like a new body of water to me and I don't know what the deal is, I'm gonna spend at least a few hours graphing before I even like get dead set on the one thing, just because I don't know. I really like fishing deep, so if I can find them out there, then that's where I want to be.
Right. Yeah.
But really, just spending time graphing and trying to find them is the main thing.
Eddie says he's slow roll a spinner bait.
Yeah,
Is that a good search bait?
The other thing, and me and Trevor Zorns are going tomorrow, and I told him offshore is what I'm really bad at, but I'm also not very good at reading my graphs, so that's something I need to practice as well. I don't want to spend hours wasting my time trying to find something I'm never going to find.
Yeah. All right, so Josh jumped right into questions. I was going to let these guys introduce themselves, and he just kind of baptized them with fire there. So we got Cal, Culpepper, Nick Dumke. They're part of the Montevallo. Did you say Montevallo or Vallo, or does it matter? You guys may
Montevallo.
say it differently because you're from one southern, one northern.
Yeah.
Montevallo bass fishing team, School of the Year last year, which is a fancy way of saying national champs in 2021. Best college bass fishing team out there, and they're in the lead to repeat back-to-back champs. So, Cal, we'll start with you. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you as a fisherman, and then Nick, you follow up after him.
Yeah, my name's Cal Culpepper. I'm from Hamilton, Georgia. I've been fishing my whole life and just worked my way up through high school fishing. Senior year, I got a scholarship offer from William Crawford, the our bass fishing coach here at Montevallo, and 2.5 hours away from home. He was starting to build up a big bass fishing team, and man, I hopped all over it, and man, it's been a journey for sure.
When you said William Crawford, that kind of sounds like it could be a college too, don't it? William Crawford University. It kind of does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I recognize the name. That's who I've been talking to. All right, Zach or Nick, up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Nick Dumke. I'm from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and pretty much the same thing as Cal. I've been fishing ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, as my dad likes to say. Ever since I was little, it's always just been everything to me. And pretty much the same deal, kind of like freshman year of high school is when I started to get into the competitive thing. A group of buddies and we kind of all were talking, and we're like, man, we should get into this competitive fishing thing. And we got a team going with our high school, and now we're here. It's led to the college stuff, and it's been awesome ever since. I've loved it. Yeah, ever since the beginning. So
we have some questions coming in, but I have a personal question here. So I coached high school football for a long time, and college coaches would come in and you'd give them the tape, and they'd watch the kid on tape and decide, if they wanted to pursue it. You're not sending tape of you like your GoPro or YOLO Tech to William Crawford. Like, how did he find you guys? How did that happen?
Dude, I couldn't tell you. There's still kids that William brings in now, and I'm like, William, where did you find these kids, man? But he's built a heck of a team, and I think it really shows just his ability to find the best anglers he can.
That's awesome, man. We were talking before we went live. You guys have like around 60 anglers. You just cycling them through there, and no doubt, just competing in practice against each other or however you approach it is going to make you guys better. Looks like question Eddie here. Eddie's one of the guys he's on here every Tuesday, and he's always wanting to talk about bass fishing. So he says, do you both feel like you're going to go pro after college?
Nick, go for it.
Go, Nick. You're on the spot.
Well, I hope. I think that's the big end goal for a lot of us here in collegiate fishing. It's kind of that next milestone to really up the competitive stuff from the high school point of view. That's just kind of where you go to really travel around the country and kind of get your feel of trying out these new lakes that you've never been to. Obviously, being a Minnesota boy, a northern boy, I have never been to a lot of the lakes that we've been to down here. So that's been a huge learning curve for me, and it's been an awesome experience learning. But hopefully someday we make it there, but who knows? Anything in the outdoor industry is where I want to be. It's my passion. It's what I love. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see.
There you go.
So what would you say if not just pro, what would you say is your all's next step? So you have the Elite Series and the Bass Pro Tour, right? Like that's what you want to qualify for. But are you going to fish BFLs? Are you going to fish the Opens? Or what do you think is like the next step for you guys?
I think college fishing is a really important part to getting to the next level. Like I seriously I sometimes think that the competition in college is just as good as like the Opens or the Toyota Series, stuff like that. Because dude, these guys catch them. Like,
yeah,
it's serious. So I think college is a really big part in like moving up to that next level, like just getting experience competing against a high level of competition. But I definitely think like for me, it's going to be fish the rest of college, however many. I technically would graduate this year, but I'm going to come back a fifth year, not because I like school, just because I want to fish another year.
Yeah, great.
But so I'm going to get through that and then, mess around with some BFLs. Hopefully, if I can get the funds up, then compete in the Opens and the Toyota Series, stuff like that, and just see where we can go from there.
Are you allowed to fish other tournaments while you're at Montevallo?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't sure. College athletics has the NIL now, where athletes can be paid and not. I guess that's different for bass fishing. Someone said, "Where's Mason?" I guess we have a lot of deer hunters.
Yeah.
On here, and they know Mason Waddell, so they wanted to see. If that would have happened, they'd been asking questions about his dad. They wouldn't have been asking any bass fishing questions. So, are you guys sponsored by Bone Collector? You should be if you're not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Michael sponsors the team, so Michael has always been a big help ever since we got here. So
yeah. So now we're one reason we had you guys on here because we're working with Toyota for some bass fishing things, and one cool thing about you guys is you have the outdoor scholarship program. I may be saying that wrong, but everyone that's on the fishing team is in this scholarship program, which basically says you guys are going to pursue a career in the outdoors. Is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah. The Outdoor Scholars Program is a super cool thing about Montevallo. It's a program that really, just the baseline of it is just getting kids outdoors and getting a bunch of kids together that all have the same passion of we all love the outdoors, whether it's fishing, hunting, even people that are just wanting to get into it, just have a passion for it, but maybe don't know as much about it. That's really what it's all about, is bringing a bunch of kids together who just love the outdoors, fishing, hunting, camping, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's definitely another huge side of it too, is helping kids get into the industry. That's one thing that William helps a lot with. And we have a lot of kids who have already graduated through the program. And I can think of one of our guys who's working with Humminbird. Another is doing his own media production company. I mean, it's a super amazing program that is definitely a huge help to a lot of us. And it's a unique deal that we're very fortunate to have here at Montevallo.
With your all school, I mean, I've talked to a couple of the guys. I've talked to Jason Lambert and a couple other dudes, but their biggest thing they told me, like a lot of people think, I'm just going to go fish. Like that's what I'm going to go do, but it takes a lot of money. He's like, you need to take like $1 million just to be able to fish for a few years. So do they like provide you guys with any type of like financial thing, like setting you up for, after college, like kind of what to do?
Not really.
You're probably covered now. I mean, you have everything you need now, though.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, the main thing is, I mean, who would think that you could get a scholarship to go to college just for, being a bass fisherman or just having a passion for the outdoors,
Yeah.
And so they already give that to us, and then just the ability to possibly build a career out of being in the Outdoor Scholars Program is just a bonus,
Right.
So it's going to open a lot of doors. Even if you guys don't become, a bass, on the MLF tour, Bass Pro Tour, or fishing for, bass in the Elite Series. I couldn't think of what it's called. You're going to have enough doors open where you're going to find somewhere to fit in and still be able to fish, beat all the guys locally in Hamilton, Georgia.
Exactly.
Hey, so we have a lot of people asking about your favorite lake, and we'll get to that. But Eddie asked probably a more important question. He said, "Are you guys majoring in marine biology? And if not, tell us, where are you guys majoring in?"
Go ahead, Nick.
I actually started when I first came into school. I actually was a biology major, and that was kind of what always just really stood out to me throughout high school. I loved biology, and I wanted to, that was probably my biggest things. I wanted to be a biologist. But then growing up and as competitive fishing got more and more, I guess, hardcore, and coming into my freshman year and realizing like this is legit, this college stuff.
It's hard, man.
Yeah, I actually switched over to a marketing major because I really the pro route kind of stood out to me, and it was like, man, if I got a time, this is now, and I got to try and take after it. And you hear a lot of pros talk about too that they have marketing degrees just because it is a big part of the industry, obviously.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I am a marketing major with a minor in social media administration. So
dude, love it.
Perfect.
Well, I'm a teacher, but I spend more time building our social media than I do working on teaching.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We got several questions. People just want to know more about you. It says, I'll put this on. This is our good buddy Mike. He helps us run this, but he's busy tonight. It said, for middle school age, 11, 13-year-olds, if they were wanting to become a bass fisherman, what advice do you have for them? Once they're getting into high school and that kind of, I guess, the tournament fishing scene.
This is kind of a cliche thing to say. Like, I kind of feel like anybody will tell you this, but the main thing is just, dude, spending time on the water. Like, just constantly getting out on the water and perfecting your craft, learning new techniques, learning, really anything there is to learn about bass fishing is gonna help you. I mean, I know just looking back from when I started fishing in high school to like what I know now, I don't know how I ever had success in high school, to be quite honest with you. Like, just seeing what I've learned now, and that's the main thing. And I'll tell you another thing too is YouTube taught me a lot. Like,
oh yeah,
I hate to kind of like promote, just being on your phone or like, you know, technology or whatever, but you know, it's like such a big part of you know, everybody's lives now, and you can learn so much off social media and off YouTube and stuff like that. Like YouTube taught me so much stuff, and I know Nick can actually tell you more about that. He actually, I mean, what is it you do with Wired to Fish, Nick?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll be a third-year intern at Wired to Fish this summer. So yeah, I've been doing a little bit around there and starting to learn more a little bit about the industry and the social media side of things. And yeah, that's been a blast. And that was actually, like you said, Cal, back when I was really young, that's kind of where I really got into bass fishing, was actually Wired to Fish. And
Yeah, exactly.
not to put a plug in for them, but Wired to
No,
Fish.
that's good. We love those guys. Yeah.
And a bunch of other YouTubers, just watching those videos. Yeah, like when I wasn't on the water, just like when you hear kids talking about, I mean, back then it was like a chatterbait. What is a chatterbait?
Yeah.
Listen to a video about it and watch the video and try and apply all that knowledge to the water. And that was definitely a huge thing. But yeah, also, like you said, Cal, just time on the water was just huge. Just being on the water every single chance you get, even if it's not bass fishing. I mean, I mainly walleye fished as a young kid, and I just kind of got into the bass fishing around like middle school, and it just took off from there. But still, from time to time, I mean, even us guys on the team, we'll go crappie fishing.
Yeah.
We'll go try and catch stripers some days. I mean, yeah, just any chance you get to get on the water and learn, take advantage of it and run with it.
It's crazy though, man, because like, you know, you're saying as a kid you watched YouTube, and that's literally like something you're probably going to, even if you make it to the pro level, it's something you're going to use.
Oh, dude.
Forever. Like,
yeah.
Every one of them.
I think my Cuff came on like last year, and he was like, what do you do to prepare for a tournament? He was like, YouTube.
Yeah, watch YouTube videos. Exactly. I mean,
but it is, man, like Tactical Bass and Wired to Fish, like all them dudes, like, dude, it can help a lot. It really can.
Yep. We talked to some of the guys at the Classic, and, you know, this was I think the fourth year that the Classic has been at Hartwell. And a couple of them said, like, I was watching, you know, the videos from the old Classics at Hartwell. And so what do you guys, Nick, start with you here. What's your favorite or some of your favorite people to watch on YouTube, fishing-wise?
Oh, man, that's tough.
There's some good ones.
Yeah. Mike Iaconelli's a good one. Just, I mean, he's an entertaining guy.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite, yeah.
He'll always give you a chuckle. He's got plenty of clips and bloopers. Plus, he's got a lot of knowledge too.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, there's so many, and all those guys are so knowledgeable. Really, doesn't matter from the elites to MLF guys. All those guys, just from, you know, KVD up to Greg Hackney, all those guys have great knowledge. It's tough to pick one. Yeah, they're all awesome.
Cal, do you have a favorite fishing YouTube channel?
I'd say from the pro side of things, you know, like Brandon Polinick's tournament videos, like Drew Cook and Drew Benton, they have a good series called The Cut Line. And
what about non-pro? Or it doesn't have to be non-pro, but, you know, just in general. Like I'm a tactical bassing guy. You guys like tactical bassing?
Yeah, I like tactical bass. Honestly, I'd say Wired to Fish is my favorite non-pro YouTube channel. But dude, I'll tell you, the pro tournament videos too, though, like even if they're not like talking about a specific pattern or anything, I still learn so much from watching their tournament videos, because it's interesting to see like the decisions they make, like while they're on the water, like during a tournament. And I know, like, I feel like one of my biggest weaknesses in tournament fishing is like the decisions I make. Like, I feel like some of the decisions I don't set myself up for success. And so it's interesting to see the kind of decisions that they make, you know, during a tournament where they're competing for $100,000. You know, it's all about, I mean, tournament bass fishing is all about decision making. And so I learn a lot just from watching their videos. But non-pro, I'd definitely say Wired to Fish, just all the different knowledge they share with different people.
You know, we just talked about this with someone. I think actually we're talking to it with another pro, not interviewing, just in a conversation of the emotions that the anglers go through, you know, in a 3-day tournament or whatnot, and how, you know, you've got guys like Iaconelli who are running back and forth on his boat. If he catches a 15-incher, it's a 7. It's like it's a 7-pounder. If he loses one, it's the end of the world. Then you got a guy like KVD who's just casting and cranking, like he's just not emotional, making decisions. And dude, it's just, were you guys at the weigh-in at the Classic?
Yeah.
So, I was back, Josh was out there videoing the weigh-in, and I was backstage talking to the other anglers. And they're all back there like, man, Kyle's got it. Kyle, I've heard Kyle's got a good bag. He's got it. And then Stetson Blaylock comes in with 20-pound bag. And they're like, oh, gosh, we didn't know he had that much.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kyle weighs in and jumps him. And like, oh, he's got it. And then the room and just the emotions from Kyle to Jason Christie, passing him up. It was like, it was like being at a, Georgia versus Alabama. There was nothing you could, no sporting event you could be at that had that much tension and excitement and emotion in that short of span. It was amazing. It was awesome.
Dude, I was super happy for Jason Christie to win it, man. But I felt so bad.
We were hurt, man. We've been watching Kyle Welcher for before he was pro.
It killed me, man. They're both. They're great dudes. Like I said, I know Christie's been in that situation several times, and he finally came out on top. But I was really hoping Welcher would come out on top.
Kyle actually. So I grew up fishing tournament. Me and Kyle are from the same home lake.
Oh, really?
And so we grew up fishing like little Tuesday nighters against each other, and it's called Lake Harding or Bartlett's Ferry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that's the lake in Kyle's videos where he's always calling it the small little local lake.
Oh yeah,
that's what he's talking about.
No, you let out the secret, bro.
Oh, I spilled the beans, but yeah, man. So I've just known Kyle a long time, and I definitely see where y'all are coming from. I was really hoping Kyle was going to get it, but
you can just tell, man, like from where he started with his videos, like just his GoPro, his wife filming him up to where he's at now, like. Dude, not the other guys haven't, but dude, he's just worked his butt off. He's just a good dude. You can just tell in his videos, man. He's just laid back.
Well, he lost by 5 ounces. Went from 300 grand to 50, which is a great payday, but it's not 300. And he came back there and he answered every. He was devastated, and he answered every question and was a pro, man. So, just speaking of emotions and excitement, someone said, What is Montevallo, or who is Montevallo's rival, right? You guys are now, you got the target on your back. You're in the lead again. I know Auburn has a great reputation as a bass fishing school. So, and you guys are in Alabama, so is that your rival? Is there some Twitter beefs or anything going on there?
Nick, you wanna give it to him?
Yeah, they're definitely.
I can tell there's something there just by the smiles.
Yeah, being only, what are they, an hour and a half down the road, something like that. Yeah, they're definitely our rivals, and they're a good team. They're consistent. They keep kicking butt, and it's been neck and neck with them this year. So, yeah, I would say that they're definitely our top rivals. But
yeah, but it's still kind of cool though, because a lot of us are good buddies with. We're all good buddies with everybody. We know. We all have our friends on different teams, and so it's a fun little battle, even sometimes where it might look like things get a little ugly, we're all good buddies, and we all know it's I
bet there's more of a rival between like your all's parents and family and friends than there are you guys, right? Because you're still young, you're competing. I know how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we won't dive any further. I feel like there's some things we could uncover there, but we won't press you on that. So I think going back through the comments, just to start, because there's a ton of questions. Cal's from Georgia, Nick's from Minnesota. Nick, when you got to Alabama, did they say you're not from here, are you? Did they say that to you?
Yeah, I got a few of those. I got a few Yankee calls, but it's part of it. I get it.
Yeah.
And listen, so I'm in the Army, and there's a guy named Jackson Perry, and he was stationed here at Campbell with me in probably 2 years, and he just moved back to Wisconsin. When me and him deployed together, we first met, and every morning I'd walk in their office. We had an office together, and he'd go, "How you doing, man?" And I'd say, "Oh, you know." And he would get so mad at me every morning, man. But he's a good friend of mine. He actually moved back up to Wisconsin. He's back on them smallmouths. So.
All right, so one from the south, one from the north. What, Nick? We'll start with you. What's your favorite lake?
Ooh, probably Lake Hartwell.
Really?
There, yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. All right, tell us why. I've never fished it.
I've been there a couple times now, and I've loved the way that it lays out. I've loved the way that it fishes between the spots. With spotted bass, I've noticed a lot of similarities between smallmouth. Just a lot of their
I agree. Yeah.
And, just the way they act, the way they set up on structure, just a lot of. It's very similar. We've started to notice. So me and my partner's actually from Minnesota too. So we both, if you ask us that question, it's almost bam. It's Hartwell. We just love that lake, and we've started to dabble with the largemouth a little bit too, like you're seeing at the Classic, some of those guys doing. So, yeah, it's quickly become one of my favorites, definitely.
Awesome. All right, Cal, what about you?
My favorite lake is Pickwick.
Oh, okay. That's not far from Josh. Nick, you have a fan on here, by the way. Brittany. Pickwick. That's Josh is in Western Kentucky, so that's what, a couple hours south of you. Is it west of Nashville? Is that it?
2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah. So Pickwick, tell us about it. Why do you like it?
Dude, I think my first time going there was in 2015. I was 15 years old and in high school, and my first time going there wasn't like I didn't understand the whole ledge thing the first time I went there, but then I knew I was going to be going there for years to come, and so that's when I started doing all my research on ledge fishing. And once I finally figured it out and went to Pickwick, man, it's so much fun in the summertime there, getting out there in that deep water and finding those schools of fish offshore. And I've had several really good tournaments there, and I don't know about like what Nick was saying, how he likes how Hartwell lays out. I just really like how Pickwick lays out. I think it's really cool that you can go fish up shallow in some grass, and then you can go out and find a school of fish in 30 feet of water. There's just like a lot of diversity. There's smallmouth and there's largemouth and there's spots in there, and so it's always cool to just you might be fishing for largemouth, but then stumble across a smallmouth, and it's just, I don't know, it's really cool to me. And I think it's more of like a sentimental thing for me. Why I say Pickwick, but man, I just always enjoy going there. I love Florence, Alabama. It's like one of my most favorite cities I've ever been to. So it's actually this picture right here, that is actually of Pickwick, the McFarland Park right there in Florence.
Yeah.
That's a picture that my mom took, and I have it hung up on my wall. So
awesome.
If that says anything.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So when you guys are going to a tournament, and what you said about Pickwick and a lot of lakes now have largemouth, smallmouth, and a good spotted population. You'll hear guys at the end of tournaments say, well, Friday I was really going for a largemouth bite, and then switched it up on Saturday. I was catching spots. Like, how do you put that plan together? Is that something you guys do, at this point, or are you just trying to put your lure in the right place? Like, are you honed in on a specific species there? Either of you. Nick, go ahead.
Nick, go for it.
It depends on the lake. There's certain lakes like just like Hartwell, like I just mentioned, and you could see it at the Classic too, watching the live, how there were guys that were kind of doing both. Yeah. And then you had guys like Taku who were targeting specifically spotted bass, and then guys like Kyle and Jason who are mainly going for largemouth. So, it really depends. Certain times of year, that's a big factor too, is just certain times of the year are definitely like thinking on like coming up to we have a tournament in a couple weeks at Norman, and that's probably going to be mainly a spotted bass deal, but it also could be a largemouth deal up shallow. One of those things that you just kind of have to feel out when you get there, just to see how the lake, where it's at, just where the weather where the weather has the lake at, where the fish are set up, what stage they're in. But it definitely depends on the lake and the time of year. I know a good example is like Pickwick. I know in the winter months at Pickwick, smallmouth are almost always what seems to be the winning bags, just because that's when they really just fatten up. They get that winter build to them, and you can go up to the dam and just wreck them. So I know that's a time. That's a good example that I can think of where you might hone in on one fish over the other kind of deal. But yeah, basically time of the year is the biggest player in that.
I'd say another thing too is just when you go to a lake that has different species like that, you see a lot of guys just fish their strengths, like I hate to keep using the Hartwell Classic analogy, but
go for it.
I know Kyle's strong suit is fishing for largemouth. Yeah. And a lot of times you just got to do what your strong suit is. You got to do what you're confident in. And I know guys like Jason Christie and Kyle Welcher, they feel more confident chasing largemouth. That's just what they're good at. And so you kind of got to keep that in mind too when you're going somewhere that has multiple different species like that. Just do what you're confident in and stick with your strong suit, because then you're allowing yourself the best bet for success.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we'll mix it up just here. We'll get away from fishing for a second. Favorite hobby outside of fishing, just getting to know you better. Cal, we started with Nick last time. So Nick, Cal, when you're not fishing, I know that takes a lot of your time. What's Cal gonna be doing?
Oh man, dude, that's
much outside of fishing.
I'll be honest with you, man. Literally, fishing is my whole life. I don't do anything else. Like I do fishing and a little bit of school. That's about it.
There you go. I'm glad you have your priorities,
man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to come up with an answer for y'all, but I'll be honest, that's all I do.
Hey, listen, if you want to make a living doing it, that's how you got to approach it.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what about you?
I'm pretty much the same as Cal, and pretty much a lot of my free time goes towards fishing. When I'm back home in the fall, unfortunately, being at school, it's tough to do a lot of hunting around here. But when I'm back home and when I was in high school and middle school, I did a lot of hunting too.
There you go.
Those fall months, doing a lot of grouse hunting, deer hunting, that kind of thing. But yeah, ever since fishing kind of took over, that's few and far between times that I am not on the water. So.
Well, I'll tell you, let's change it. We'll get back to fishing. Favorite snack to have in the boat? That's a fishing question. So since you guys only fish, you got to eat too. So
banana.
Nick, what's your favorite snack to have in the boat?
Banana.
Man, some of the staples are Vienna sausages.
Okay.
I never was big on the sardines. Not a huge sardine guy. I mean, I'll eat them, but I'll tell you one thing that one of my good buddies on the team actually got me started on was I don't know if y'all have seen like the Starkiss tuna in the little pouches. It's like,
oh yeah, yes,
dude, grabbing a couple of those and like a box of crackers and some hot sauce, dude, I'd tear it up.
You're good for the day, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. What about you, Nick?
Boy, I almost always got a box of granola bars. You can't go wrong there. I usually try to be a little bit healthy, maybe get like a couple apples in there. Avoid the bananas. Gotta avoid the bananas. Shape or form. Banana nut muffin, a whole banana doesn't matter. Gotta avoid those. But
okay, no banana products.
But yeah, pretty much a granola bar. It seems like there's always some granola bars laying in the cooler. But
there you go. That'll do it. Both, beef jerky, I think is mine. Yeah, beef jerky.
Yeah.
Grippo's beef jerky. Do you guys know what Grippos are?
I don't.
Oh man. See, it's like a Ohio, Kentucky thing. It's a barbecue chips. They're called Grippos. They're fantastic. I mean, they're the best. If I had a pack, I'd send them to you. But they also have that flavor. Also have that flavor in beef jerky, and it's the best. So, go ahead, Josh.
You actually I didn't even realize you had it up on the screen. So Eddie's asking about live scope and 360. I hear questions all the time, and question for me too. I know a lot of guys, and you all may as well. You just go ahead and run both. But if you can only pick one, which one do you think's better or gives you more of an advantage on the water?
Nick, you have more experience with both, so I'm going to let you go first.
I mean, yeah, running both is definitely it's the deal. It's obviously not in everyone's wheelhouse. It's obviously very expensive to run a lot of equipment, and you have to have the extra batteries to run it in your boat, and just have the space in your boat to do that is obviously that's just another whole issue. But if you have the ability to do both, that's definitely where it's at. I personally just run live scope on my boat, but my partner, he has live scope and 360. And it definitely is super nice. I can see at first, I mean, when thinking of it at first, it was kind of like, yeah, that's a little crazy. Like that's a lot of stuff to go wrong in a boat. But it definitely is. It's huge to be able to use your live scope and actually kind of see fish, see how they're set up, and then to use a 360 to really see the structure and see what you're looking at from a bird's eye view. It definitely makes a huge difference. But both of them are awesome, even separate. They're both amazing. That I would say are a must-have to have on a boat. They're just they're awesome. Excuse me.
I personally, I only run live scope on my boat. I'd love to run 362. I definitely would if I had the money to. But I think the biggest thing with 360. So live scope is more of for actually seeing fish and seeing how fish like react to your bait, see how fish set up on cover and stuff like that. 360 is more of like seeing, like how Nick was saying, seeing structure and just seeing like the lay of the land, really.
Right.
And so like Nick said, I feel like if you have the ability to run both, it definitely helps. Like I know I would run both if I had the money to, like I said. But if you had to pick one, I'd probably go with live scope just because I feel like you can still see the structure with live scope. You just have to. You just aren't going to see as much as you would with 360.
Right.
Because with 360, you don't have to constantly scan with the trolling motor to look at different stuff. It's just it's individual thing, and it's constantly scanning out in front of the boat. But I know for me, it'd be easier for me to just graph around with my idle around and find structure on my graphs at the console, and then hop up on the trolling motor, find the structure with live scope, and then just see how fish react to my baits.
Yeah. Now, one thing I get tired of seeing all the time is people talk about how live scope and active target and whatnot have ruined bass fishing. Because you see pros that have all the screens, their boat can hold, and they still go out there and catch one fish for 4 pounds. Like it helps. I mean, obviously it helps, but it's still not easy, right?
No, not. You can't. It's not a guarantee that you're going to go out and catch them just because you spend $10,000 on electronics.
Right.
You still have to do your research. You have to know how to run your electronics, how to set them up, and the biggest thing, you have to know how to find fish.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't find the fish, you're not going to catch them.
Yeah.
And so they're all just ways to help you catch them once you find them.
Yeah. Now, one guy, Nick, you'll know this guy, Jason Seelock. I have read a lot of things that he's written, and he's the guy who runs Wired to Fish. I've read a lot of things he's written about live scope, and for him, I guess it was live scope. It was one of the two. For him, he said that it wasn't so much about him catching more fish, but learning more about fish and how they behave and how they react. And I talked to a lot of the pros that have said, they'll find on live scope, find 5 fish that all good sized fish, and they can't get any of them to bite. They have to move on, which is, I'm sure, the most frustrating thing ever, especially in a tournament. So it's just another tool that sometimes it can help you win, and sometimes it makes you want to break your rod over your knee.
Yeah, that's definitely an important thing to remember. Is like you can get once you get live scope, you can get so sucked into trying to catch every fish you see.
Yeah.
That before you know it, you've wasted 3 hours
I'll bet.
following around one fish that you don't even know if it's a bass in this one pocket, and so you definitely just gotta know like the right times to use it and when to not use it.
Yeah, I could see that, man, for sure.
That would be me. I don't have live scope on my boat, but that would be me. I would get just fixated on this. This is what I do when I'm bed fishing. I'm like, this fish will bite eventually, and then I gotta go home with what do I do? All right, so one question is, I think everybody watching probably want to know this. PB, largemouth, and smallmouth. I'm going to guess Nick has the best smallmouth here, just from where he's from. Nick, go ahead and start with you. What are your two biggest fish, largemouth and smallmouth?
My PB smallmouth is 6 1/4, and my PB largemouth is 6 1/2.
Okay.
Let's hear your spot too, Nick. What's your PB spot?
My spot is lacking a little bit. Yeah, it's only like just under 4 pounds probably. But
yeah, that's bigger than any spot I've caught.
Me too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
A lot of spots in Kentucky too. Every lake we have is just filled with them. Cal, what about you?
My PB largemouth is 8 pounds, well 7 3/4. PB smallmouth is 4 1/2, and then my PB spot is just under a 5-pounder.
Oh, those are. I mean, both spots are good. If you catch those consistently, you're going to win tournaments. So,
yeah.
Josh, what's your PB largemouth?
PB largemouth was caught 2 weeks ago. It was 8 1/4.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I got
that one. He's not caught a fish since.
Extremely lucky because after I was looking at, that's very true actually. Other than the crappie today, but I caught it on a red square bill, and I was looking at the pictures, and I hooked it on the outside of its mouth. So it's grabbed it, let go, or whatever, and I set the hook. I got it on the outside, so like I couldn't have got any luckier. I got extremely lucky with that.
Yeah. It was still cold. I bet he was just still lethargic too. He was fat though.
He was. He was a big fish. I got lucky, man.
Yeah, my smallmouth is 5 pounds, and my largemouth is just under 5 pounds. So my largemouth's really light.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, you have to say it like that, Cal.
Oh no.
I mean,
I love it.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that's it is what it is.
Room for improvement.
Maybe I just moved.
That's just where are you from?
Kentucky.
See, that's just impressive to have a smallmouth that's bigger than your PB.
Well, no, the
largemouth.
smallmouth was at St. Clair.
Yeah.
So I caught that at St. Clair. So, yeah. But now, in Kentucky, me and Josh both, we just about prefer to wade the creeks and catch smallmouth as we do to get in our bass boat. So,
love it, man.
Where we're from, just a little county in southeast Kentucky, you can wade a creek and catch 3-pound smallmouth not all day, but it's not uncommon, which is a good smallmouth, especially in the creek. So, dude, we love that. So, anyway,
do y'all know anything about shoal bass?
We do not, or I don't.
No.
Tell us about them.
Dude, they're really about the only place you can find them is really where I'm from, and shoal bass are. I don't really know how to describe them. I know a lot of people pay a lot of money to like come to Georgia and some of the. I think they're in Florida a little bit to catch them, and they're just because they're like only in such a small area of the United States,
I've heard of shoal bass. I know zero about them though.
Yeah, they're kind of similar to like a smallmouth and a spot mix, kind of.
Yeah.
It's the best way for me. They kind of like have colors of like a smallmouth, but then just their overall appearance is kind of like a spot. So they're really fun to catch. Though they fight very hard.
So there's a push right now in Kentucky. We are kind of like in the center. We're not northern. We're labeled southern, but it really depends. If you're from northern Kentucky, you're not really that southern. But if you're from where Josh and I are from, you are. So there's a push right now to bring F1 Florida bass to Kentucky. People want to see them stocked. Biologists are saying like, yeah, we don't know if they'll survive. And, Kentucky Lake has some in it. So my PB will increase, will improve if we can get some Florida bass in
Once
Kentucky.
we get them.
Or I need to spend more time in Tennessee and Alabama. I don't know. So our good friend John here, John, oh no, that's Eddie. John said there's plenty of smallmouth to go around, and he's a smallmouth killer. So Eddie says, question for the youngsters. That could be Josh too. Where is the world record smallmouth from?
Dale Hollow.
Dale Hollow, on the Kentucky side of Dale Hollow. So there you go. We claim that.
Yeah, I've been to Dale Hollow once, and I zeroed both days I was there. So I don't.
It happens.
Yeah,
it happens. Let's see what else we got here. Go ahead, Josh.
What was crazy to me, man? So we went over. I think it was the second day of the Classic. No, it was the last day. It was championship day, and was looking at the front of Hank Cherry's boat. He had 4 rods on each side. The ones on the left was nothing but jerkbaits. All 4 of them. On the right side, nothing but wacky rigs. All 4 of them. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, in my mind, when I watch these dudes on TV or whatever, I'm thinking they got 8 rods, they got 8 different things. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's got 4 rods with 4 jerkbaits. Like, what could y'all explain that to me a little bit? Is it just wanting to use like a different color, or is it just like, why would he have 4 of the same on each side?
I mean, from experience, sometimes with jerkbait fishing, especially with spotted bass, it seems like in particular, like spots and smallmouth and largemouth too. I don't want to exclude them, but sometimes it can be very color specific. I know, just like from being a translucent bait to solid color to a matte color. Sometimes it can just be crazy specific, and I don't know what exactly he had in particular. I know he's a jerkbait throwing machine, but maybe he even had different sizes, different depths, different running depths. So, and even different sounds that they make between the different knockers that are in them, stuff like that. And on the wacky rig side, same kind of thing, maybe different weights that he had on them. Also, I know too, a lot of guys were skipping him around docks and stuff. Maybe just if he's going to break off, bam, he gets another rod.
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
ready to go, and so that way he can just keep running and gunning, kind of deal. Doesn't have to stop. So, but I mean, there are times where it can be super specific, where it's like you got your buddy throwing bone colored jerkbait, and then you are throwing like a blueback herring colored one, and it is just lights out with one color over the other. So.
That makes sense.
And it's kind of thing. So
that just goes back to like what we were talking about with like live scope too. Is I know Hank Cherry, he's sponsored by Garmin, so he obviously runs live scope, and I'm sure it was crucial for him to have like 4 different jerk baits rigged up so that if he found a fish on live scope and he threw out there to him, seeing how they reacted to each jerk bait would key him in on which one they really wanted more.
Yeah. So. Well, John had a good point. He said line size is different more than likely. So he probably had some different line sizes on there. We've heard Mark Menendez talk about that too, where he used some lighter line and also could be weighted differently. And it's his bait. It's literally the Hank Cherry stunner.
At no point, I just want to be clear, was I questioning the championship whatsoever.
No, we know. A lot of guys had jerk baits tied on. Almost every boat had 2 or 3 different types of swim bait tied on too. Yeah. And I remember Kyle Welcher came back and they said, "What were you throwing today?" He said he said he had thrown a swim bait. They said, "What kind?" He said, "Well, it's not a sponsor, but it's a 2.8." So even guys that they were pulling out all the stops, throwing what they had to do to win. So, all right, we got 10 minutes left. Let's just run through like some rapid fire, this or that type questions. Favorite this or that as far as related to bass fishing. We already asked you in the, so guys, if you're watching, you're in the comments. Josh and I walked around the Classic Expo asking people if you had one lure to fish the rest of your life, what would it be? These 2 guys are in the video along with some of their teammates. And so check that video out. Can you guys remind us, Cal, what did you say would be your one lure forever?
I said it was a chatterbait.
Chatterbait with the razor shad. Is that Z-Man? Okay. Nick, were you the other chatterbait we had too?
I think I went with the good old classic jig.
Okay. Yeah. What was your trailer? I don't remember.
Like a twin tail grub, usually something like that.
Yeah. All right. Nice. I couldn't remember those. I know 2 people said chatterbait. That was our most popular answer for the day.
Yeah.
We probably asked 50 people. I don't think they all made the video, but chatterbait was number 1. I think Cinco was probably number 2, wasn't it, Josh?
Actually, I think it was a jig.
Was it a jig?
Yeah, jig was number 2, and a lot of people love throwing. What are they called by Zoom? The chunks. Is that what they're called? Chunks.
Yeah.
I like throwing them on the back of them. I've actually never used one, but after hearing everybody's answers, I may try them. So
Z-Man makes good stuff, man. All right, what's your what about if you're I guess more finesse fishing, what soft plastic do you guys go with? Go ahead, Nick, we'll start with you.
Boy, I'm probably gonna go with the swim bait. That's what comes to mind, at least for me, when I'm thinking. I like to throw like easy shiners, a lot of like 2.5, 3-inch swim baits, that kind of thing. I love doing that, especially for spots and smallmouth. That's one of my go-tos for finesse stuff. Otherwise, you can't beat a Ned rig too. I mean, when times get tough, that's something you can always fall back on. It seems like it's gonna get bit, and it catches big fish too. So those 2 things are usually always seems like on the deck, whether it's smallmouth fishing, spotted bass fishing. They always find their way on the deck.
I don't know who all sponsors you guys, so you can name them or you can go with whatever. But is it a Z? Do you stick with the Z-Man plastics with the Ned rig, or do you go with something else?
I like the Z-Man Ned rigs personally. Yeah, I have a lot of faith in those. They have a lot of really good colors in them, and I like those a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the missile baits Ned rig too. I can't remember what it's called.
Ned Bomb.
Ned Bomb. I like those too. Those are good. And I don't know if you heard of Biz Baits. Biz Baits is a smaller plastics company, and they have one called the Ned Dizzy. It's really good. All right, Cal, what do you think?
Man, I'm a big wacky rig, Nico rig guy. So if I'm shallow and I need a finesse approach, I'll go with just a good old weightless wacky. And if you're fishing out a little bit deeper, then just add you a little nail weight to the tail of your worm, your Cinco, whatever you're throwing, and you can fish it out deeper. I'm just like, I have a lot of confidence on a wacky rig, whether I'm shallow or deep. So
yeah, you just going with like a Cinco Yamamoto.
I'm not actually a big Yamamoto guy, just because I don't like paying $8 for a pack of 10 worms that'll possibly tear up before you even catch a fish on them.
That's true.
They definitely by far have the best action, but man, I've done a lot of searching around for one that's similar, and I pretty much stick with a Bass Pro Shop Sticko now.
Really?
Yep. I feel like they have the best, like the closest action to a Yamamoto, and you can get 30 of them for $10. So
yeah, them and the Bass Pros brand and Yumdingers are like the 2 budget friendly brands that still produce. So that's good. Good answer, Josh. Did you have a question for him? I thought you were going to chime in there.
No. I was going to ask him about. I seen a question earlier. I can't remember who asked it, but they were asking, do you prefer a spinning rod or a casting rod?
Oh, there you go.
A bait caster or spinning rod, whichever.
Bait caster for sure.
Yeah.
Probably spinning rod for me. That's kind of just what I grew up with, walleye fishing, and always it's the same thing as like I was saying with the swim bait. Like the spinning rods is just always, it finds its way on the deck, whether it's a Nico rig, swim bait, all kinds of, especially with smallmouth fishing. That's what a lot of what smallmouth fishing revolves around, is a lot of finesse stuff most of the times. There's definitely times where you can get the A rig going, jerk bait, bigger swim baits, but yeah, definitely a spinning rod for me. I'm a fairy wand guy.
I told my buddy I was telling y'all earlier about Jackson. When he first came down here, we started fishing some tournaments together at Kentucky Lake, and we were like we went on a ledge, just like a secondary point, and he was throwing a chatterbait, and out of nowhere he just starts smashing smallmouth with a chatterbait. And he's like, dude, I don't get it down here. He was like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He's like, it's smallmouth can like drop shots and Ned rigs. He was like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Nick, what is your favorite? I know you're probably up there. Is it Mille Lacs that's up there in Minnesota? So you have a lot of good smallmouth fisheries. What's your favorite smallmouth fishery?
Oh, in Minnesota, probably Mille Lacs. Mille Lacs is a pretty
What
crazy.
about just overall?
Overall, I haven't been able to dabble in a lot of like the big smallmouth factories, but last fall actually we were up at St. Lawrence at our college national championship, and we spent a few extra days. We stayed up there just to hang around and check it all out and learn a little bit more about it. And we went out on Lake Erie, and that is I love that place. It's super cool. It's massive. It's got tons of water, tons of fishable water too. And it's got crazy big smallmouth in it. So.
You got to check the weather before you go in Lake Erie, or you may not make it back.
Yeah, there were a couple days where we actually weren't even able to go out there because the wind was blowing so hard. But the day that we did make it out there, we had a blast. Yeah.
Hey, someone's asked about this is unrelated to tonight's show, but they ask about striper fishing, I think. So next Tuesday, I don't even think Josh knows this yet. We're going to have Josh Massengale. He is like a white bass savant. I mean, that guy catches striped bass all over Kentucky. Kentucky's about to have their white bass run where you can go to a lot of creeks and catch a limit every day. And so next Tuesday will be the show about the white bass run in Kentucky. So if you're watching, you're interested, check that out next week. Here, I got Nick. When you were talking about being at St. Lawrence for the championship, I thought of another question. When you guys go to a tournament, and this is for both of you, do you just it's you and your partner, you enter the tournament? Do you win the tournament as like a partner, just like a regular tournament style, or are there points added up for each pair that's entered? Like, how does that work?
So yeah, it's kind of an interesting deal with the whole partner thing. It's kind of hard to explain. When you win a tournament as you and your individual partner, that's like your team. But then your team does win at the same time, like University Montevallo Fishing Team at the same time, because us as a team, we win the individual tournament, and because of that win, that's points to the team like our University Montevallo Fishing Team. And that's what adds up to ultimately the school of the year, year points, which is like that's the biggest deal for us. That's our main focus is school of the year. But
so you guys are wanting to have as many pairs as possible, finish in the top 10, top 20, whatnot, to accumulate points.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. It varies per tournament trail too. Every single one is different almost how many points you can earn, but anywhere from first down to, I mean, even there's tournaments where it's down to 100th place, past that even, where you can earn points. So definitely, we try and send as many teams as possible to try and earn as many points as possible because, that's the biggest thing for us is going after that Team of the Year title.
Are there guys? So are you guys sports fans as well? Basketball, football, anything like that? I mean, you got to be a football fan.
I'll be honest. I'm not big into football. I'm more of a diehard Braves fan.
Okay, well, I mean, they're winners too. So you can take professional or college, but if let's say you're in college and you have like the Heisman Trophy winner, the star player, the best player in college football or basketball or whatnot. Are there guys like that in the bass fishing world where you're like, oh, dude, that guy's a hammer. Like he's the best college fisherman out there. It may be Cal and Nick. I don't know, but. Are there some guys when they show up, you're like, oh man,
dude, without a doubt. And another thing too is like for most of the trails that we fish, there's like Angler of the Year titles.
Okay,
so not only are you earning points through School of the Year, but you and your partner, like as a team, are earning points towards like the Angler of the Year title.
That's cool.
Okay, yeah.
So, like the Bassmaster College Series, they have a Angler of the Year title at the end of the season, and whoever accumulated the most points from each tournament, like they get the Angler of the Year title at the end of the season.
So Tristan McCormick, are you familiar with him?
Oh yeah, one of my good buddies.
He fishes for Bethel. He was in the class. He actually came very close to making the cut. I know he was right there after day one. So how did he earn that spot in the Classic as a college fisherman?
So he, with the Bassmaster College Series, the top 4 teams at the at the Bassmaster College National Championship at the end of the year.
Okay.
The top 4 teams, along with the Angler of the Year team, they earn a berth into the Bassmaster College Classic bracket. And essentially what happens
each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha,
Once you
okay.
get to the classic bracket, you're by yourself, and it's a bracket format. And then whoever wins the classic bracket advances to the Bassmaster Classic, and they also get all of their entry fees. They get a boat to fish out of, they get a truck, both wrapped, and then they also, along with fishing in the Bassmaster Classic, they get all their opens for the next year paid for.
Nice. So Tristan Mccormick really he racked up there, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he's one of those guys that you were just talking about. If I see Tristan showing up, I'm like, oh gosh, man.
Yeah. Who are some other guys like that? Maybe we'll hear about them. Other than you two.
Man, I guess Nick, we can both give him a team that scares us.
Okay, give you a team. Man, hopefully they're not watching. You don't want to let them know you're scared.
Oh no! Look, this team I'm about to give you, they already know I'm scared of them. Hayden, Gaddis, and Ben Culley. They fish for Carson Newman University.
I saw them.
They are, dude. They are. It's every time I see them, I have to be like, dude, are y'all ever gonna suck?
Yeah.
Like they seriously do. They always do good. And
Did you say it was Gaddis?
He Gaddis, and Ben Culley.
Yeah, he said
Carson
they won. Carson.
They won the college.
Yeah,
classic.
they were back there during the press conference. Yeah, I remember that last name Gaddis. So okay.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
The hardware to show it.
They really scare me.
All right, Nick, who's your team that keeps you up at night?
Oh boy, man, that's tough. There's a lot of good guys out there. I guess coming off of like we were just talking about the team of the year thing, Tucker Smith and Logan Parks from Auburn, they're definitely some hammers too. Those guys they're up there. And last year they had a heck of a year doing. I mean, what was their lowest finish? I don't even remember. They had a crazy
like 16th.
Yeah, they had
their lowest
fishing for the Bassmaster College Trail, and a well-deserved team of the year for them. But yeah, they're definitely a team that is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's some guys, man, that just have it, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, when you're gonna suck, I don't know. Let's see some more questions here. We're gonna let you go. I was trying to see if we had any just had to answer questions. Some about colors, favorite colors. I'm guessing you probably stick to primarily just a couple.
I feel like I already know the answer to this.
I do too. Like green pumpkin, black and blue.
No, I'm talking Brent Lemming's question.
Oh, what is I didn't see it.
Do you all have luck fishing in the rain, or do you call it quits if it starts?
Oh. Man, I start calling it quits when I start seeing some lightning.
Yeah,
that's me. I'm getting off there.
Yeah,
no way.
You think rain in certain situations helps?
I think so. I think it just, especially if you're in. I feel like if you're in clear water, then if it's raining, it kind of allows you to maybe get a little bit closer to the fish and then not see your boat.
Yep.
I don't know if that's what I think. Yeah. I don't know if it's really true or not, but it feels, makes me feel better.
Anything that give you a little advantage, even if it's just mental. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up. Do you guys have like your own fishing pages or anywhere that people can follow you, or let us know so guys can go give your page a follow or like, or maybe just the fishing team.
Yeah, I'm mainly active on Instagram. That's my biggest thing, and it's Georgia_Bassin. Bassin is just BASSIN.
At Georgia_Bassin.
Yep, and
all right.
And then, I guess in addition to that, if you want to keep up with the Montevallo team, you can follow them on Instagram. It's Montevallo_fishing.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
I'm mainly active on Instagram as well. My Instagram is Nick Dumpke Fishing. And like Cal said, definitely give the Montevallo fishing team a look too on Instagram and Facebook. That's where we put a lot of our postings and a lot of our updates about our team. So.
And yours is just all together, Nick Dumpke Fishing.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, listen, it's been a blast talking to you. We could talk the rest of the night, but I got to work tomorrow. And you guys might be up on the lake early. I don't know. So when's your next tournament? Where are you fishing at?
My next turn. So we actually got 2 tournaments coming up that are the same week. Some of the team will be at one, and some of the team will be at the other.
Oh, nice.
And I'll be at the MLF College National Championship on Fort Gibson Lake in Oklahoma.
So that's a big one.
Yep.
There you go. All right, Nick,
And then,
where you gonna be?
Nick.
That same weekend, yep, that other tournament that Cal was talking about, we'll be in North Carolina at Lake Norman. So
Norman. Okay. Josh, did you live near Norman?
I was probably about 2 hours from Norman. I fished Jordan Lake and Sharon Harris quite a bit about 5 or 6 years ago. Both have some big fish, but Norman I've heard is pretty good as well. I don't know about now, but back then I know it was really good.
All right. Well, listen, guys, we appreciate you coming on. When you guys are big stars, don't forget about us. We'll have you back on.
Don't leave me on read.
Yeah, don't leave him on read. Or when you guys win another national championship, maybe we can meet up again and talk about it. So you can show us a trophy. But we appreciate you guys. Good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, we appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday talking about the White Bass Run, one of the best times of the year in Kentucky. We'll see you then.